Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Airport Show here on Vanderhoot Presents. I'm your host, Vanderhoot. Today, I'm coming to you from the airport in Mobile, Alabama. So, MOB Airport. So, here's a story. One of my viewers, one of my friends, Blair, recently asked me to explain how I got stranded on Dauphin Island in Alabama, and this is that story. So, first, I need to explain how I usually book my travel. What happens is I get a ticket at work and find out I'm supposed to be somewhere like Dauphin Island, Alabama, tomorrow. So what, or later today. So what I have to do is book my airfare, my rental car, and my hotel. I do that typically right away. Well, what I did when I got this ticket was I booked my airfare and my hotel, and then I tried to book a rental car, but unfortunately there wasn't any available. I tried Enterprise, I tried Avis, and then I tried 6T, and none of them had any availability whatsoever. So I tried. The next thing I tried was Kayak, and search one and done, and there was no availability in the entire city of Mobile from any rental car company. So what that means is I had to take an Uber. No big deal. So I took an Uber from the airport last or 2 nights ago to my hotel, and so that meant that yesterday morning, still no rental car availability. So what I had to do was take an Uber to the job site. Well, the job site was actually on Dauphin Island, where my hotel was in Mobile, Alabama. So that's about a 40-minute-ish drive. And when we got there, I failed. This is where I failed. I didn't get the Uber driver's phone number. And so, if a little bit of backstory, if you don't know much about taking an Uber, if you take an Uber outside of a normal high traffic area, if you take an Uber out like I do all the time to a remote site, you get the driver's phone number. Otherwise, you may get stranded. And that's what happened to me. So yesterday I got done at the job site after 3 or 4 hours, and it's about 11 or 1 o'clock at this time, and I'm trying to get an Uber, and I just it wouldn't work. So I would book it, and it'd say, "Great, your ride's confirmed," and then no driver. It would just sit there and do nothing, and I did that 3 or 4 times. I tried booking, scheduling out on Uber, so 45 minutes in the future. 45 minutes would come and go and no driver would show up. And that happened a couple of times. So I tried Lyft, and Lyft charged $279 to get me from Dauphin Island back to the hotel. Again, about a 45-minute drive. So I did try that, and no Lyft driver ever picked me up. I tried to schedule it at least twice, and no Lyft driver would ever drive down there to come get me. So I called the local taxi company, and they were willing to do it, but I had to pay in cash, and all I have is a credit card, company credit card. And they weren't willing to accept credit for that trip. It had to be cash. So that wasn't going to work. My friends pointed out on Facebook that there's a ferry that leaves the island. That ferry looked really cool, and I really wanted to take that ferry. Unfortunately, that ferry went from one island to another island and not back to the mainland where I needed to go. So the ferry wouldn't have been helpful in this case. It would have been awesome. Unfortunately, it would not have been helpful, especially since I was stranded on foot without a rental car. So I didn't have a way to get to the ferry, and I failed to mention that. So again, my fault. So anyway, I'm stranded on the island at this point, and finally an Uber driver, through the grace of God, came to pick me up, and got me back to the hotel. So I got there about 5 o'clock last night, nice and safe and sound. And so then today I'm at the airport again in Mobile, and right now I'm headed to New York. I'm going to Jamaica, Queens, New York today. We'll probably spend the night there, and then fly home. Here's some heartbreaking news though. While I'm there, there's a Six Flags park 2 hours away in New Jersey. I think it's Six Flags Great Adventure. So like 2.5 hours away from JFK Airport, where I will be today, is that park, and I wish I had time to make it, but there's just no way. If I land at noon today and made it to the park, I'd get there at 3-ish and have like 2 hours. They close at 5 o'clock, I believe, today. so I really wouldn't have any time in the park, and I have to go to the job site, so I have to go do my job, so I can't do it anyway. And then tomorrow, even if I were there for rope drop at 10:30, I would have to leave at noon roughly to catch my flight home. So if I did, it would only be for an hour and a half. So I don't know. Leave your vote down below in the comments. Should I rope drop the park for like an hour? I'll go if you suggest it. So I mean, I'll be right there. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me on another episode of the Airport Show. I love you, and I'll bring up some new videos later today if we're lucky. All right, have a good day.